Subject for the email I sent him was young fuck. And
oh mate, that's a dodgy fucking email
I know.
title.
Attention
It's like
grabbing.
it's like Nambler,
that's
isn't it? It's like Cartman. It's like, I'm a young boy looking for an older man for fun times. Yo, welcome back to Shotgun the Orcs. Happy New Year, people. Been absent for a little bit of time now, but we're back finally. You're with Tom, you're with Jake, you're with Aidan.
Hello there.
And we got a guest today, man. And I'm going to butcher your name probably, but we got James Wijesinghe. Did I get that right?
Good, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, man, from Reverb Music. So we're going to talk a little bit about Potent Funk. We're going to talk a little bit about Blatantly Blunt, and we're going to talk a bit more about Reverb Music. So tell us a bit about yourself, man.
Oh, mate, you're the man. So I'm James, Bournemouth. I wasn't born and bred. I was born in York, but grew up here in Bournemouth. Went to uni in Exeter, a bit in New Zealand, but I'm just always into my UK hip hop, writing, interviewing, reviewing, going to gigs and that.
Oh man. So you came through the organic way then. I've just been told to stop tutting on WhatsApp. Aidan's looking at me like, yeah, no man, that's cool. So how did you, and firstly, just to give a bit more background, we just did an interview. Actually, James just came around originally to interview us for his website. So
yeah, link in the description.
Yeah, link in the
to his
description.
page. Go and check it out.
So yeah, what's the URL for that? Reverbmusic.org. So check it out, and you'll find a nice little insightful interview featuring the three of us.
So when did you start, and how did you? What made you want to start it?
So I've always been into music and into writing, and I was just leaving school, and I wanted to go into uni. I wanted to practice something, see if I could go into a world. And I was like, well, I like my writing, I like my music. Let's see if I can be good enough to put them together. And then I just started sort of writing about music, mainly hip hop, bits and pieces, and it's just sort of progressed from there. And then obviously, as you mentioned, jumped onto Blatantly Blunt, which is basically like Reverb Music, but a lot bigger. And Nick, the guy who runs it, is a lot more established, but it's his baby. Whereas mine was Reverb. And then from that, Potent Funk at the moment. So gradual, increasing the career, the hip hop journalism as it may be. Nice
one, man. So we talked a bit about you're into like spoken word poetry as well, aren't you? So that's kind of a facet of kind of the music that we haven't really covered yet.
That's
do you know what I mean?
isn't it?
We haven't had like a spoken word poet on yet.
It's mad because that's like poetry is, some might argue that it is like it's the fundamentals of like rap music, isn't it? You know, it's like stripped back raw without any music. Like rap can be in poetry, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean my favorite artists and hip hop artists are people I see as more on the poetic side of things. Like Jam Baxter, Lee Scott, all these people. Like Jam Baxter's book, I know you spoke about it recently. Off Piece, yeah. Luckily, I got in the first 100 to buy it, so I got it signed because Jam Baxter's my fan, to be fair. Well, I'm a fan of Jam Baxter. But so I'm into my poetry, I suppose, because I studied English at uni and then started doing a couple performances at like theatres and festivals, and a couple in Bournemouth. But yeah, Instagram, Widges Words. Check that.
How do you spell that?
Widges, WIJS, WRO.
Are you a fan of Tupac?
Tupac, yeah, I suppose so. But I mean, if I'm honest, I haven't listened to any Tupac in maybe the last 5 years or so. You always have a discussion, the US, UK sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know your opinions are like, for everyone shouldn't segregate themselves, but I would say that I've put myself in this UK pocket in the last few years, having had a US experience growing up, and now I'm trying to get closer to this
diversify.
UK thing. Yeah. But I just like the UK shit, because it's something
you like
I
what
can
you like,
relate
man.
to
That's
more.
the subjective nature of music, man. That's cool. So, like, besides the artists you've listed, so how did you first get into hip hop as a genre?
That's a good one,
question.
actually. I remember being in the car. I must have been like 9, and usually we'd have like Classic FM on, and we were on like Radio 1, and someone was rapping, and my mum was like, "Oh, this is rap!" and she changed it. And then from then on, I was like, "Wait, this is this outside world that I don't know about." And then from then on, I just sort of like got into really trashy R&B when I was like 10, like Akon and.
So long, Mr. Lonely, I have nobody to call my own.
Slowly, just the hip hop and the poetics of it, and like sort of it's an attractive sort of genre, isn't it?
So how did you go from mainstream hip hop to more underground stuff?
I guess it's trying to connect with the UK scene,
Right?
And like you can picture the lives they're living more because it's more relatable. As in, we're British and there's different accents. It's always good to support people who perhaps aren't getting the support. Like our UK artists aren't big like a lot of the US ones, so I always try and like support. I mean, because
by
come through in it. I'm always trying to like big up.
Yeah,
people.
Big up Serbs come through.
Exactly.
Yeah, I clocked that when you walked through. I was like, that's a sick design, man. I recognise
What was the
it.
question again?
What got you into like from mainstream to?
From mainstream to underground.
Yeah, I don't know, just digging because. As I said, I started the blog and that because I was always into like categorizing music and researching music. That's what made me do it. So, just digging, digging through artists. My mate introduced me to High Focus when I was like 13, and from then it was just like
the gateway label, man.
Literally, gateway, fucking 4 hours gateway, just zoom. Not like before, and then from then on, it was just nothing has been like it was before.
Yeah, I think for me, like going from the main stuff to more underground, it was just through like YouTube and just watching like when you like you search for something, you start with something, and then it's just like, oh, what was that? Click that. Oh, what was that? And you go like down a sort of like rabbit hole, don't you? Of just like music and stuff like that, and then it's slowly going deeper and deeper and deeper to like exploring.
I think everyone goes through that really like obnoxious phase as well, where they feel like they like own something, and they're like anyone else who disagrees with them. Like I was like this, like I only listen to fucking underground boom bap, and like everything else is fucking mainstream and bullshit. And you just grow out of that because you just kind of like you become less like narrow-minded, and you kind of like different tracks for different reasons. Like, oh yeah, the lyrics are fucking bait on that, but the production's sick or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And like you just appreciate more things. But everyone goes through that phase.
Do you know
where it's
what,
just like,
mate? That's like an arrogance within UK hip hop, mate. When Jake first, and this is going back to like the interview we just did, when Jake first told me about like you, and we're just like, Tom's big in his. Tom's been big into his hip hop, and I was like, okay, cool. He's probably big into his hip hop, and I was thinking he's not as big as me, I know my hip hop, man. And then fucking meet him, and he's just fucking dropping all these names, and I'm just like, yeah, right, yeah.
Always a bigger fish, isn't it?
But we were talking about it in the interview. I like that because like I come with like a degree of knowledge, but there's a lot I don't know, and Aidan knows, and Jake knows, and so we're learning from each other constantly, and the guests that we have on, but also like. I was saying in an interview, like Aidan sometimes acts as like a layman. Like he'll ask questions like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Who's that? Like, what does that mean? And who is that?" And it's almost like a conduit for the audience. Do you know what I mean? So
what's hip hop?
Yeah, what's hip hop? But yeah, man, it's fucking. I don't know. It's just music's so subjective, but there's that kind of like feeling of ownership you have over a genre you love. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things.
Bit of a cult following.
Like I remember back in the day, like I was well into, and I still love them, like the Roots, and like I remember when like Lil Wayne first came through, and I'm a fan of Wayne now. Like I think he's made some dope music, but it's not, it is what it is. But at the time, I was just like, yeah, fuck that Lil Wayne bullshit. This isn't rap. This is just like this was like the precursor to like mumble rap. So for me, I was just like, he's not got any lyrics. He ain't got any bars. All his bars are like nonsensical. But then you become more you kind of soften around the edges and become a bit more forgiving to
He has got
do you know
bars
what I mean?
though.
He does have bars. Like in retrospect, he does. In retrospect, he does have some bars, man. But like,
I know what you mean.
At the time, I was kind of like comparing apples with oranges. Do you know what I mean? You're like, oh yeah, you can only like that, so you can't like that. And it's like, nah, fuck that noise, man. Just you like what you like.
I think that like Carter 3 era of Lil Wayne. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't really like any of the stuff like recently. But yeah, that kind of era. Lil Wayne was actually like he's the D
Here's the Carter. Take that to your teenage daughter. I probably butchered that. I paraphrase that because I don't actually know the fucking bar, but that was the genius we were dealing with Lil Wayne. So man, what other kind of artists were you into or are into at the moment?
I mean, I say this year, my top played artist is Lee Scott at the moment. I mean, him and John Baxter are my top two in the UK, I'd say. I mean, obviously, shout out DABBLA as well, my man. But
got good work rate, hadn't he?
Dude, Lee Scott, unbelievable.
Lee Scott is prolific, man. It's
That's the thing. I'm just like, how is he putting out another project? It's like,
For
It's that
like
EP
a
that he
music
dropped, man. It's seen like the features on that.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Got
For
another one
a
with
music
Jest.
blogger, do you,
Exclusive, innit?
Another one
Like-
with Jest as well. Yeah, that's the thing, and that's the genius of it. Is they're building the cult. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
having and similar to like like the Dead team with like Cass is Dead is having that air of like exclusivity around it.
yeah.
And
What you
you
saying
feel
about
like,
Ono? Like,
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have interviews. 'cause-
exactly, man, because of the elusive kind of branding that's around. I like that in a way. Do you know what I mean? It kind of like, I don't know, you kind of buy into that. It's like we often talk about rappers and artists who have that branding and personality, not just like the bars and the music.
Well, it's-
Action Bronson, for example, not
Yeah,
like an
yeah,
elusive
yeah.
type, but he's like, you think of Action Bronson, just think this larger than life, like
Yeah.
stone caricature, but he's so he works so hard. Do you know what I mean? To kind of sustain that brand, you've got to work incredibly hard every day.
It's like Doom wouldn't be as big without the mask.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
And people kind of complain that it's bait that he doesn't turn up to gigs and stuff, and it is. But at the same time, it's like that's what
hypocrisy of
the
it.
supervillain would fucking do. Do you know what I mean?
Living off borrowed time, the clock ticks faster. That'll be the hour they knock the slick blaster. Dick Dastardly and Muttley with sick laughter. A gunfight and they come to cut the mix master.
So do you find it difficult to keep up to date with all music?
I mean, Twitter is a good method, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm always looking.
Always
and
doing.
that's this is the problem with like the situation now with the digitization of music. It's like you don't have to listen to an album ever again or a song ever again. It's constantly changing. Everything's constantly updating. You can just listen to something, leave it, it's gone. So like you can search for like you can find new songs every second. So like someone will be like, oh, how was that album? It's like, yeah, I checked it, but like now I'm listening to something else. And I feel like in the past where you'd perhaps buy a record, even buy a CD, buy a cassette, you had that attachment to that album and you stick with it. Whereas now I think it's a good thing, you can find new music, but there is that sense of it's almost too open that we lose that attachment to single items.
Yeah, I think with hip hop though, like with hip hop, the kind of physical format is coming through again in a big way, and that's kind of always been there through like vinyl. But like cassettes and CDs are quite big in like Europe. Well, cassettes are big in the UK, but like CDs are still big in Europe. Like vinyl's had like a massive resurgence over the last like few years. You know what I mean? So I think like to your point, like even though it's oversaturated digitally, I think like the hip hop like community like having that physical copy to have.
true.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And yeah, no, 100% completely agree. And also you've got like a playlist generation, isn't it? So you're kind of, or a singles generation. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's all about just putting out singles. It's rare. It's it's not too common now to see full length sort of projects from start to finish, where it's like you've got little interludes, different songs, all that sort of stuff. A whole story or whatever, or a whole sort of album concept. Don't get me wrong. There's loads of artists that do it, but now it seems that people just want to make that one song that blows, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
What do you think about like, UK hip hop's obviously tiny,
Right.
Like in the grand scheme of music. What do you think's holding it back? Do you think it's because like obviously money is one thing, and it's kind of, we talk about it being derived from America originally and then spawning its own sound, etc. But do you think like, and this is just me coming out with a thought, but do you think to some extent, because like we're quite cynical as a people, British people, it's like, and the scene's so small, it's people stop each other from progressing.
Do you know what I
Do you know what I
think?
mean?
Do you know what I think it is? Right. I think, and don't take this with a pinch of salt. So
No, man, I'm going to take offence. He's
I
calling everyone out.
I don't think so there's so many good albums, so many good UK hip hop artists and stuff like that, and like rappers, but I don't think there's enough competitiveness. So I'm a firm believer that the sole reason or a majority of the reason why grime is the way it is now is because of GRM Daily and Link Up TV. So they're the two, obviously the major channels, and you think about, and this is going back to sort of just singles. You think about if you get your video on that, I suppose it probably costs between 100 to £1,000 depending on whatever time they post it to get your video on that, and you get however many views. It's all on one platform, so it's kind of like people are trying to up each other, so we're constantly pushing the lyrics, constantly pushing like the sound, constantly pushing the video, right? And I think that does kind of make it a lot more progressive. Whereas don't get me wrong, like the stuff that's coming out from from sort of like the recent stuff that come out from Compound. Like that's like I feel like that's like level up, you know, and Lee Scott level up, like constantly push. But I don't think there's not as much. There's not as many people sort of leveling up. Do you know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying, man. Yeah, I think it's difficult.
Like people are putting out good stuff, yes, but I think that because it's all sort of sporadic in different places and different areas, that it's not. Does that make sense?
Would you make that competition though? Like beef each other? You're gonna have
Not necessarily. I mean, that's a good segue for this like Wiley Stormzy.
Oh yeah.
I think I really wish I would love it if there was some UK, not like fucking
Blatantly high focus battle.
Like, if not some fucking like stab each other up sort of. I don't want to. I'm not saying get violent, but I'm saying like if there was some like beef where it was like this sort of competitiveness. Do you know? Think about hip hop, bro. Everyone's a fucking stoner. Everyone. If people would be more laid back, they'd be lying down, man.
That's the thing, man.
Just,
yeah,
but it's everyone's mate, everyone's friendly, and that's a great thing. And it's a group.
And also,
community.
I think the whole appeal of UK hip hop is because it's not necessarily about that life. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a whole kind of population of fans who, you know, aren't from like the inner cities who can't relate to like grime and drill and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why they listen to like someone like Dyke rapping about more relatable topics to them.
Well, one of the greatest UK hip hop songs, "Where You Find Me," Verb T, and that's just literally sitting on a sofa.
Nah, T don't play. I'm like Michael Jackson in a non-pedo way. The thought of mad party and debauchery tortures me. My T-shirt reads "fuck off" and don't talk to me.
Yeah, that's not going out doing drugs. Yeah,
Eden.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, man. I think that's like why if UK hip hop to a certain extent couldn't blow up, because then it wouldn't be as appealing to its fans as it is. Do you know what I mean?
Got to stay underground a bit.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. It's one of those catch-22s, but we still love it, man.
But mate, who am I, mate? I can't even rap for shit.
Right. So Wiley versus Stormzy then. Right, so and you boys just listen to I think you listened to both of them.
I listened to Wiley's one.
I prefer.
I already heard Stormzy's one this morning.
I think
so late.
I don't know, man. Like, I think like Stormzy, fair play for responding so quick, unless it was premeditated. Like,
but they planned the beef.
Well, you never know. You never know, man. I mean, it is
planning the beef. You guys need to fight.
You know, but they're not. Stormzy's independent, isn't he? Who is it?
Yeah, Stormzy's independent.
That fucking blew me away.
But,
you told me that recently.
Stormzy, I told you that.
Yeah,
Stormzy's
I was just
independent. I'm pretty sure Wiley's actually signed to Universal.
Yeah, man.
But I think he does a lot of his just own sort of stuff.
But I love like what you said a minute ago, like listening to the Wiley send before the Stormzy reply. It's just more like gritty and like low quality in terms of the production. You said it sounded like he recorded it in a cupboard or something. It was just I love that though, man. I rated that so much more.
But Wiley's stuff sounds like Wiley's like verse and bars sound like the beginning of grime, like the old sort of JME BBK like videos you watch, Skepta and that. Lord of the Mics, the old Lord of the Mics videos you watch. That's what it sounded like.
Wiley's track.
Whereas Stormzy sounded like know what it would sound like if you've got loads of money to put into a studio and professional video and all that. Sort of
Isn't that essentially what the beef? Like Wiley's track, just listening to it, and if you didn't give me any background and you just said listen to the song, it just transports you to a tower block in Bow, in like some pirate radio.
On stage, no fear when I'm in. Back my team to the end, it's clear, yeah. I swear this will end in tears, it's me. You know what I'm doing when I'm in. I can't stop you from brewing when I'm in. You don't bring two in and you will stop slewing.
Man just spitting over basically a sped up garage beat.
Yeah.
Grime. But that's what it is. That's what it sounds like. It's got that aesthetic to it.
It hasn't even got a video.
That
exactly. I rate that.
I saw a comment, right? Because I'm not going to claim this to be mine. I saw a comment on the track saying you can tell it's old school Wiley when he puts "send" in the title.
Yeah, just to make it clear, I'm sending for him.
Yeah, it's just like but then the Stormzy one's complete opposite. It comes with a video, like a well-produced video,
very glossy.
In a really like.
But that
smooth.
That begs the question: like, did he really turn that around in a day, or like was it premeditated?
Who, Wiley?
No, Stormzy's.
So
this is what I'm saying. Like it was like a well-edited, well-produced.
Yeah, but I think he's got the ability. I think he's got.
I suppose he's got the resources.
Yeah, but I'm thinking because if you think of the Drake and Meek Mill beef, because Drake's reply back was that massive Drake's reply back was within a couple of days. And you think, if you like what you just said there, Stormzy's got the resources, right? Think of the resources Drake's got. And he just released that as an audio. There was no video or anything of that.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, like, to Tom's point then, it is a bit kind of too refined to be, I don't know what the time gap
I still
is.
love the Pusha T Drake beef, man. I think that's like,
Yeah.
that was so sick.
But then even the beef with with Chipmunk and Bugs Malone, like that was like
the UK
24
hip hop
hours,
beef. I
48
remember
hours beef.
the UK hip hop beef I remember from years ago was Chester P and was it who was
Farmer Beats?
No. It was it Wordsmith. Because it was fucking amazing. They did squash it.
Mate, there needs to be more. I think.
Yeah,
you know,
the bitches, Wordsmith this, that's the one, Chester P. Check that out. It's so funny. But then obviously, yeah, like Chester like went in. But yeah, there's not really, like, to Aidan's point, that much UK hip hop.
I'm going to
man.
propose something right here,
No,
right
man,
now.
come on.
No, I'm going to propose something on Shotgun the Orcs. Okay, listen. If any of you like people out there, any rappers that are listening, okay, that you don't want to be like in a violent beef, but you want to be in like some sort of like funny sort of beef, and just put it on our channel. Yeah. Right. Send us your names, okay. We'll drop all your names in a hat, right? We'll pull them out of the hat live on the show.
Or like a beef raffle.
Yeah, beef raffle. and we'll fucking do it.
Then whoever you get, you got a beef.
And
Oh,
yeah.
That's a really good idea, man. Like a meat raffle.
Like fucking. I really hope people like actually do this. But
yes.
To be fair,
Fake
man,
beef.
that actually like encourages quite a lot of like competition.
isn't
man.
it? Just fucking rap to a camera. Just rip. It's basically like battle rapping, but
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something
virtual
more
battle rapping.
Yeah,
like,
innit?
over the
It's
internet.
virtual battle rapping. It might be someone that you've never heard of, but the point of this, and I've just thought of this in my head, the point of this is it will get you. So if I didn't know Aidan know me, we lived at opposite ends of the country, and we both get our names pulled out this hat, I'm going to have to spend a lot of my time invested in Aidan, and likewise, vice versa. Therefore, he's gained, like, a bit of interest and like that. And then,
You've
and then
gained
we're...
one fan.
We've gained one...
It'll just be jokes, man.
Fan for fan.
I'll
Trust.
just
Gonna
be
beef
jokes.
each other, aren't
Yeah,
you?
man.
Shotgun
Let's
the
get
Orcs.
this going.
So you've had like you said that you're into kind of battle rap as well. Is
Oh,
that
yeah,
from, like,
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
Flop days back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, Premier Battles now is the main thing. I actually got a Premier Battles scarf with me.
Oh,
yeah.
you're
The
rapping.
Mandrill Mob.
Oh mate.
Teams have got. You following Premier up here?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's good colours. That was Luna C's team. But they've,
Nice.
they've dropped the sort of team-based aspect of it for 2020. But yeah, I'm big into a battle rap. Got some good interviews on the blog actually.
Sick, man.
What's your favourite battle?
Yeah. Have you
Oh mate, favourite battle. I mean, I watch battles most of the time when I'm at home.
Yeah. I
Literally.
suppose
got
it's
how
difficult.
how far do you go back?
I rinse them.
I suppose it's difficult to
You-
say favourite battle because you're naturally going to be biased towards the most recent ones.
O'Shea and Luna C was classic though, man.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
cut out so much of that stuff because Luna choked for most of it apparently, and then he had a little deal. But yeah, I mean, I watch battles all the time. I wouldn't be able to say what my favourite is, but I mean, there's a lot of good stuff going on. And the other weekend, my brother and I in London, it was my birthday actually. We went to Premier Battles.
Happy
big
birthday,
event.
mate.
Cheers.
15th December, was
Happy
it?
birthday to you
Yeah,
as well.
thank you,
15th
mate.
December,
Cheers.
that's it. Yeah, there were some sick battles. Seeing Shotty Horror return against John the Don, a US guy. But yeah, really good battle we saw there was a guy called Real Sick, a Sikh guy from the States, against a Geordie geese called Maverick. And that was just like mad intense. They're both quite like sort of gym guys, and they were just at it. That was the most energy there was. That like other than the Shotty battle.
I want to hear a Geordie rap.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's like
That's
the
what
sign-off is
Stig of the Dump was
Geordie.
Geordie, wasn't he?
Is it?
Yeah, Stig of the Dump's from. He's from Newcastle, I think.
Oh,
He was sick. He was battler back in the day.
is it?
Yeah, fucking amazing,
They had
man.
a couple Don't Flop events down here actually. I don't know if you.
I remember when I was younger seeing it, but not being like old enough to go to it.
Is it
but,
the Winchester? I think,
Yeah.
So we had Tenchi come through on
Yeah.
the podcast, man.
Yeah.
He was fucking heavy. I think he was defeated once in his career, in his battle career.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, we've had a few battlers on here, haven't we?
Yeah, man.
Who else?
I can't remember who else has come through. Can't remember, man.
Fucking what? Kong.
Oh yeah, Prince Kong came through. Yeah.
Kong came through.
I
Yeah,
listened
yeah,
to that
Rum,
one,
Rum
actually.
Committee. Yeah. He came through. Yeah, man, he's jokes, that guy. Yeah, he was in some good battles.
I reckon Big Daddy Rap Beast would be a joke battler.
Knowing on the rappers' arm in my car, driving to the woods where the dead rappers are. Cause I take them to the forest when I body them. Fucking waste of oxygen, murdering the lot of them. Eat another from my hit list, makes my dick twitch, leave them dead like hookers in Ipswich.
well, Tenchi was saying he's done some kind of jokey battles, hasn't he? But I don't know how seriously.
Have you watched his film yet?
No, not yet, man.
I watched.
Did you see that episode
I
we
heard
did
you
with
talking
Big
about
Daddy
it,
Rap
yeah.
Beats, mate? He's jokes.
check that one as well.
Yeah, he's.
Do you want me to link you the film? Oh, I can
film.
actually. I'll plug it now.
Some bloke commented, didn't he? Saying like he said the title of the film
It's about
on
the
the YouTube channel.
Portsmouth sort of hip hop scene.
What
was it,
on the video for it?
Yeah.
Did he?
On no, you know like the
On the episode?
the special we recorded, I think
Yeah,
the Christmas
yeah.
special, because Jake was talking about the film, and
Mate,
then someone in the
it was
comments
me
said
that
what the
spoke
name
about
was.
it. It was Aidan.
All right, whoever.
Have you seen Versus, the battle rap UK battle rap film last year?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I've seen that. No, it's a good watch. But I think like the battle scene's like kind of, I don't know, it hasn't got. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's got worse, but I used to prefer it much more like probably about 10 years ago.
It's in a massive slump at the moment.
Another beef we've missed. Eminem.
Oh, Eminem and Nick Cannon.
Nick
Oh,
Cannon.
mate, it's not even worth getting to.
Yeah.
Corporate beef.
Yeah, corporate
Corporate
beef.
beef.
Eminem used to be like fucking beef king back in the day, didn't he?
So what do you think of his, did you check out Eminem Machine Gun Kelly?
I didn't know. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was a weird one, wasn't it? Because
Kill
like,
shot and all that.
it started off good, then it was just like, then there was, because obviously they're signed to the same label, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it was just like, are they? I don't think so.
I thought they were.
Well, it's Shady Records, isn't it?
Shady
he wouldn't have
Records.
signed- I
I'm
don't think he signed it.
I swear, I fucking swear.
Well, I don't know if they're both signed. So we
I
won't
mean,
go.
the way labels work these days. It's
No,
all
but
sort of-
it's a monopoly.
Eminem back in the day, though, he was just like untouchable with beef, wasn't he? Like with the whole like Everlast beef and stuff.
Yeah.
When he dropped I Remember.
Cannabis
Oh
and-
no, it's Bad Boy Records.
Yeah.
Like Interscope.
Yeah, because Bad Boy, because that's Eminem called him out, called out Puff Daddy or P Diddy or whatever. He
Oh,
goes by
yeah,
now,
yeah.
At the end of the Kill Shot one.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
Implied
He said he implied that he killed Tupac.
he was behind the Tupac killings. Yeah, that's fucking mad. But where were we? We were talking about battle rap. Fucking hell.
This is the problem with these podcasts. They just chat shit.
So man.
Speaking of,
Oh, but no, your favorite battle.
battle.
Oh,
what it
mate,
was.
but I don't know
Yeah,
what my favourite battle is.
Okay, one of your favorite bars then.
Oh, my favourite bar.
It's even harder, that question.
Everyone
man.
knows. I mean, Pedro versus who's this? Pedro O'Shea.
Yeah.
This is like become like a staple bar. Is it's mum joke time. Your mum's got a tattoo with the Umbro sign.
It's mum joke time. Your mum's got a tattoo of the Umbro sign. She be in the men's toilet sniffing. It's mum joke time. Your mum's got a tattoo of the Umbro sign. She be in the men's toilet sniffing jumbo lines. She had 2 battles and she won both times. Hold up. Yo. Your mum looks like Nick Nolte. She wears socks on her hands like Mick Foley. Her nickname up in prison is Big Tony. I use her hard nipples as my split pokey.
That goes off. That's like a classic. But I mean, most of the time I've got random bars go around my head from battles. But I mean, sad I can't pluck you out one now.
Yeah,
Other than
yeah,
that, that's
you-
a classic.
Oh, fair enough. Now, Aidan put you on the spot there, and he's a dick for doing that. So well done for coming through.
Yeah, man, he did well. But, so how did you get involved with? And sorry if you've already answered this, but how did you get involved with like Potent Funk?
Yeah. So I do my Reverb stuff, and then I was getting some. I interviewed Illiman. You know Illiman. He's on Potent Funk.
Yeah.
He's in Problem Child.
And is it Peng Shui as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Front man for them.
Yeah, they're sick, man.
Yeah, they're sick.
That's Pav, like Pav from Foreign Beggars' brothers, like on the drums for that band.
Is that true?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
got
And
you.
because I think like Pav and his brother, the guys
They
behind
look quite similar,
you know
yeah.
Brap, you know the app
The
where
app,
you
yeah.
can like upload bars and that over beats and stuff. So yeah, man, they look fucking. I haven't seen them live, but they look heavy.
So
Though.
they're doing bits.
Yeah, Illiman's sick.
Yeah. So I interviewed Illiman, and the geezer who sent me the sort of like press release was the guy Nick, who runs Blatantly Blunt. And then a few months passed, he was sending me bits and pieces, and I was like, mate, don't suppose you know anyone who's got like a bit of a job going? I wanted to like improve my sort of skills in the hip hop journalism, and he was like, come work on the blog. So I was like, calm. So then I'm still doing bits with Nick on Blatantly Blunt. But I was actually taking a dump in a Paris airport, and I see a tweet from DABBLA saying, "We need a young social media savvy fuck," and I was like, all right. So
I could be that fuck.
Literally, the subject for the email I sent him was young fuck. And
oh mate, that's a dodgy fucking email
I
title.
Attention
It's like
grabbing.
it's like Rambler, isn't it? It's like Carmen. It's like I'm a young boy looking for an older man for fun times.
Here's a chat room. Men who like young boys. That's perfect. Hi, everybody. I am a young boy seeking an older male for good times. I am 8 years old and would like... Wow, look at all these guys that want to be my friend.
I brought you some candy.
I didn't think about that. But it worked anyway.
Young fuck.
But yeah, he saw on my CV that it had Blatantly Blunt Nick's thing, and Nick used to do the marketing for Potent Funk, like their press releases. So he asked Nick like, "Wagwan with this geezer," and put in a decent word or whatever, and then invites me up to London. I was in London anyway, and then went to the pub, and really good chat, and now I speak to them every week, and it's good shit. Would help. I do the press releases, do bits for the website, interview people.
So what do the press releases involve then?
I guess I do a newsletter as well, but the press release would be like just saying albums come out, or like a track or whatever, a music video, and we'll fire that out to DJs or subscribers and whatnot. But yeah, type it up, do little artist bios and all that sort of stuff. Just helping with the marketing and behind the scenes sort of writery bits at the moment is what I'm doing. But hopefully I'll be moving to London and I can just help out with sort of more operational things as well behind the Potent Funk bits. But yeah, shout out to Dabbs for having me on.
That interview was sick as well, by the way. Make
You
sure you
enjoyed
check
it?
that out. It's funny.
I
reading
checked
about
that earlier.
and without like going into it too much. I like the story about his teacher.
Oh yeah,
who expelled him, and then
ended up
he got into some fuckery himself. So that was fucking funny, man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Read the interview. It's really good.
Yeah, DABBLA, music, meth, and martial arts.
That's
it's
it.
not that. Is it that? It's something like
Yeah,
that. Some
something
combination of those
Yeah,
three.
some good alliteration, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That's
On
the
Reverb
that's
music,
the
check
poet
that.
coming out.
No, it's sick, man.
appreciate
I rate that. I rate this. That's quite cool. Like getting that involved in, because I do like you don't really get a lot of that from anywhere really. The background of the music industry, especially
Right.
the UK hip hop industry. But you don't do it. You don't find out how much about it, do you?
It exists.
And for
doesn't
someone
it?
that's quite interested in it, it'd be good to hear more about
I
that.
suppose a good thing with DABBLA, for example, like he's describes himself as like hybrid rap shit, doesn't he? He doesn't like to kind of pigeonhole himself as UK hip hop. He's just like, I just rap over anything. I just rap, I do this and it's just my own lane. I really rate that.
Yeah.
But like, do you have any influence over who you interview? Is it based on like who you're a fan of personally, or is it just kind of within Potent Funk, or is it just, do people say, oh yeah, go and interview this person, like they'd be worth having a chat to?
I mean, on Potent Funk, it's like the interviews I did so far have been Frosty, Frosty.
Yeah.
So he had a mixtape coming out, so I did a little promo interview for him. Dream McLean was the new signing, so I did a promo interview for him. The next one we'll be putting out, hopefully, is DABBLA on Potent Funk, not on Reverb.
Yeah.
He's got a Some Guy produced album coming out soon.
Some guy's sick, man.
Some guy put a list out of projects he's got coming this year that he's producing. He was like 12 deep of just like Cult of the Damned.
Man, he's down for doing the podcast as well this year as
well.
well. So I'm like,
So
touch wood, we can make that work.
with DABBLA,
Yeah.
so he's currently working on the album, or is it getting mastered? Or
I mean, it's coming this year, and he's
Okay.
not in the country, so I think
So-
things are like pretty.
so how's it working with him out of the country? Is he working with another producer?
I mean, the music's made from what I know.
Okay.
But he's out sort of having a break from making music
right.
and sort of living his life, diversifying is
Yeah.
the line he ends on the interview. He's doing bits, and then we're just sort of doing things in the background over
Because I
here.
can't remember who wrote the interview, but it was the one with Jan Baxter, and he was talking about how he wrote the album. I can't remember which album, but the one that he wrote when he was in Bangkok.
Oh, what, Jan Baxter's album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the album
Soy 45, whatever it is, that one?
Mansion 38,
So there was an interview with him, and he said about how he was just getting just fucked all the time, and the way the album was written was he'd record his verse, then send it over to, I can't remember who the producer was. It might have been one of-
Chemo?
Yeah. Send it over to him, and then he'd do the production, send it back. And apparently they were up all night, just making music. And there was got a knock at the door, and it was a guy with a fucking gun. Put a gun to his head and was just like, shut off or whatever. I think that's what happened anyway. Like, I read the interview a long time ago. Don't quote me. Go and check out the interview.
Imagine if you were just like really high at the time and you just like mixed up like a completely different story with that.
Yeah,
Or,
Scarface.
You're just watching Scarface whilst tripping your balls
I might
off.
have hallucinated the gun.
Yeah, man. So I read because you don't just like interview people, you do like pieces as well, don't you? Like,
Right.
I was reading one
features
that you wrote about why are big rappers so little or
Oh, you
something like
checked
that.
that one?
Yeah, that was funny, man. I quite like that. Was a good concept for kind of a topic. What are you doing, man?
Sorry. What's that?
Oh mate, that's ridiculous. So yeah,
Jake's just taking
Ooh.
pictures of it. What is it?
it's just Aidan
What the fuck?
looking sexy ass.
Some eyeshadow.
But
So the
Carry on.
history of sort of big and little
Yeah.
prefixes, and that was actually a while ago actually, and I'm glad you checked that because that never actually got as many views as I put the effort into. You know what I mean? But let's check that one actually. That was good shit.
yeah, it was good, man. So it was just about if you want to like elaborate a bit more, is about when like little rappers is kind of the reasons why they were called little. So whether or not it was like a term of endearment, whether or not it was kind of like I'm your junior, so I'm little, or like what was the other? There was like other reasons behind it. It was cool how you broke it down.
Yeah,
I'll let you do that, man.
I think the best way is actually check out the article. But I go into the bigs and the littles. This is when I was out in New Zealand, to be honest, when I wrote this. But it's been going for years, you know. It's just been popping recently, and it goes from lils to littles to lil apostrophe. It's you can get deep into it.
Yeah, not as many like
And
Biggie
Bigs
Small.
is sort of gone, innit?
Bigs are kind of dying down. You were saying
Big Daddy Rap Beast.
Big Daddy Rap
yeah,
Beast.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
holding it
What
up.
was he before? The Beast, but he didn't want to be.
He was Animal Beast.
Animal
before.
Beast.
Big Shaq, I guess we got now.
Big Shaq. Oh yeah, you said Big
But
Crit as
more
well.
of a
Big
parody.
Crit.
Big Crit is another like rapper. He's prolific. Like, I think he's levels, but doesn't really get discussed much.
I was gonna ask this in my interview actually with you guys, but I know you guys said that you set up the podcast because you don't rap.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, what would your rap names be?
Oh damn!
Don't know, man.
Mine would be my WhatsApp name, which is LL Cool Jake.
Probably just T Cozy because it's
T-Cozy.
very British, and
I
that's
like
my
that.
Instagram handle as well.
A Dog Mafia.
A Dog Mafia.
Which I named Aidan as well. I name everyone.
A Dog Mafia implies that there's more than one of you. There's a whole mafia.
Innit?
Different personality.
I'd
Yeah,
wear
I
like
like that,
different
man.
masks, man.
I like that, man.
But yeah.
Fucking hell. A Dog Mafia, LL Cool Jake, and T Cozy. There you
Yeah, I
go.
like that.
How about you, man?
I mean,
Do you have a rap name or a
I
poet
don't- I
poet
mean,
name?
Widge has been like my name throughout life. I mean, even at school, teachers would call me Widge. I mean, now I guess I don't introduce myself as Widge, it's James, but like that's what it used to be. Like, you know, people would call me Widge. That I guess would, if I were to like, have a rap persona, an alias, that would be what it is. I guess that's the natural one, innit? I wouldn't call myself something that's not me. I wouldn't be like Big Daddy back in this and that when I'm just
Lil Widge.
skinny me. Yeah,
Lil Widge.
Lil Widge.
All right,
That's
man.
my younger brother. He's Lil Widge.
Oh, nice one, man. But, before we wrap up,
Yeah.
is there anyone you want to shout out?
Oh.
Anything you wanna big up? Anything you want to
guess-
talk about?
Big up you boys. Appreciate you guys having me on. I know I had you boys on, but it's nice to be interviewed. I guess
It's a
rather than
pleasure, man.
switching
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
table.
Likewise, it was weird
Yeah.
for us. We were like, like, James was asking all these questions, and we were just rambling on for fucking ages. Poor guy has to go back and like write it all down. So
I
it's gonna
find it
be,
really
like-
hard to be serious and not take the piss. Not take the piss out of you, but just to like not just take the piss out. Do
It's
you know what I mean?
It's
Just-
defense mechanism.
I
He's very
I
insecure.
find it hard to take things seriously.
He's very insecure.
Nah,
I'm
I'm
very
joking.
insecure, yeah.
But yeah, big up to you guys. Big up to myself, pushing the world through and trying my hardest. But yeah, no, big up to the fam, everyone who supports. I mean, I don't get that many followers and that, but big up all the people who have been. Some of the diehards, my man Dom, Josie, Neve, but the family.
Big up
you
you
know.
guys.
Big up Shotgun New Yorks and everyone clocking that because Bournemouth is being brought into the forefront by these guys. So
I think
mate, that's sick.
our 2028 for a guest should be who can big up the most people.
I got a list I brought with me.
Big Daddy Rap Beast
but
last
Big
year,
Daddy
though.
Rap Beast. I think he bigged up like the entire the whole of Portsmouth.
His whole family and like cousins and nieces and nephews, man. It was amazing.
We wrote it on a
Oh,
whole
man.
toilet roll.
So before we wrap up, like you can find us at Shotgun New York, all platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We need more.
Big up
UK
Big
hip hop
Daddy Rap
small.
Beast
We
as well.
appreciate that, but like, come on, show some love. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
That's it.
Reverb Music on Twitter and Facebook, and the website obviously .org.
Yeah,
So-
this is just a taste of I think what's to come next this year, guys.
Yeah, before
Big
we
things.
wrap up, right, and can we play out with the Easy Life New Year's Eve cypher that dropped, because like those boys fucking killed it. Big up to yourselves.
If they allow us to play it. if they don't allow us to play it, then you're not going to hear
If
it.
you don't
right
want
now.
free exposure,
But if they have allowed us to play it and they've given us the rights to it, then you'll hear it right now. You'll hear it playing right behind us.
It's a lucky dip.
We're nodding our
What's gonna
heads.
happen?
You can hear that. We're nodding our heads to music.
and we're out.
Tranquilizer, take you out, I'll play the blinder. I live the life, you're just a story improviser. Bunch of dick wipers like I did them boss inside her. Typewriter, all mistakes show. I'm with your missy and we're kissing under mistletoe. You, I know, sunk your boat, now you're capsized. Cause a landslide, catch me on the trackside. Fuck a happy new year, I'm so hard done by. Can't deny I'm super fly, jet up in the sky. Cheese and wine, push boy, call me Valentine. Sat reclined, easy living all my life. Look.